Hello everyone and welcome back to Desktop Dungeons. It's been a really long time for me. Haven't made a video in a while, in fact. So I thought I would take this opportunity now that my schedule is lightening up a tiny bit to start something new and hopefully give me some time to practice and get back into the swing of things. I've started this new kingdom called the Kingdom of Few Unlocks, which kind of gives away what I want to do with this. Basically, I'm planning on starting a playthrough where I will be avoiding most item unlocks, most of the special exotic preparations and classes, and focus just really on the basics. And the reason behind this is that if someone asks a question for help on a dungeon or a challenge, it can be hard for me sometimes to give proper advice, since I usually play with a kingdom that has everything unlocked, and I don't really know what everyone has in terms of strategies available to them, what kind of items, what kind of things like that. So the idea here is to create a reference that should be useful for pretty much everyone. Like, I'm going to only be using stuff that should be available to basically everyone. And planning to play through the entire game, beat the quote-unquote final boss, and unlock all the vicious dungeons. And hopefully this will be helpful, and this will make it easier for me to give advice and show off tips and tricks, etc. So I've started this new kingdom. I have all 4 class building unlocked, as well as a blacksmith, but I'm planning on doing the majority of this playthrough purist, so no preparations for most of the dungeons, with a couple of exceptions for certain of the harder quests. What else? Alright, there are a couple of things I am planning on unlocking. First of all, all of the upgrades for the basic class buildings, so all of the 12 basic classes, because you're going to need those to unlock all the vicious dungeons anyway. You might as well, unlock them whenever you can. In terms of items, the only 2 items I'm currently definitely planning on unlocking are the Soul Orb and the Viper Ward, which protect you against mana burn and poison respectively. You get those by completing the Gnome and Halfling puzzle packs, which incidentally I am planning on unlocking the Gnome and the Halfling races, because you get those really early. And those 2 items I was talking about are just really strong, powerful, helpful items. They have a very useful effect, and they convert for a lot, and basically everyone should have them. And if you don't have them, then you should just go ahead and try the puzzles. If you really can't beat them, just look up a solution, because the items are too good to pass up. I might unlock some of the special classes, like some of the special races like the goblins and the orcs. I might get some of the more exotic buildings like the alchemist or the upgraded bazaars, but I'm not planning on using those special preparations. I want to keep this as basic and helpful to anyone as possible. With that said, and feel free to ask questions about this, by the way, I've set up the kingdom so that we're starting at the banker quests here. And the reason I'm doing this, let's just select the zone of danger and start with a human fighter. Yes, the reason I'm doing this, I could take a preparation here, but I won't, is that the dungeons are in an interesting state right now. Basically, the only thing you have available to you are the stat boosters, the potions, and the glyphs. No shops, no altars, no nothing. So this is a great time to start talking about the different glyphs, because proper usage of those glyphs is going to carry you through a lot of the game. Alright, I forget, did I say this? My final plan for the unlocks is to absolutely unlock all the deities, and I'll touch on that later. But basically, everyone can unlock those. You just have to explore the directional dungeons, and all you need to do is find an altar. You can die during that dungeon run, the deity will still be unlocked. And the deities are easily the most powerful things in the game. Like, you learn how to use the different gods, you're set. You can beat most things that way. In fact, you can beat all the things that way if you learn how to use the different gods. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's just stick to the dungeon at hand. I found Wait What early, which is very nice. As you can see, this adds the slow debuff when you use it, as well as swapping with the enemy. Like, most glyphs have their main effect. Like, Wait What's main effect is obviously to swap enemies around. But they usually have a little extra effect. Like, this one will add slow to the enemy. Anything that warps an enemy does that. The effect of that is that you get automatic first strike for one attack. You cancel out effects like First Strike, Retaliate, Fireball, and all that. And killing them gets you 1 extra XP. So you see normally the fighter would get 2 XP for killing a level 1 enemy. This is because of his learning trait. Now I get 3. So if you find a glyph like that early, wait what or want to fight, you want to use it as much as possible as you're doing your early exploration. That way you use up your mana, which is otherwise wasted. And you're set. Oops, I put him on the exit, which you normally shouldn't do, but it doesn't actually matter here since the boss, when you encounter him, like blocks off the exit anyway. So yeah, you want to be spamming whatever glyphs you find early, so that you can make use of all the mana you're otherwise wasting by doing that early exploration. I should probably warn everyone that I'm really rusty right now. Like, I haven't played this game seriously in quite a while. So my play is going to be quite suboptimal for now. That's fine though. These dungeons are pretty easy. The thing about the current state of the Den of Danger and Venture Cave is that since the game is only giving you the glyphs and nothing else, and since this is like the first normal difficulty level dungeon, the monsters have lowered stats. Like this level 1 zombie only hits for 2 and only has 6 HP, which is significantly, well, it's quite a bit lower than what it normally would be. So this actually means that the fighter is really ideal for a situation like that, since the fighter's biggest trouble is getting going early on. The fighter has one of the best traits in the game, the veteran trait here. It starts with level 1 of learning, as we saw here, get an extra 8 XP per kill, and also less XP needed per level. Put those two things together, it's a really fantastic advantage. But the only trait you get that actually helps you fight monsters is that 1 level of death protection, and so that's a one-time thing. You use it and then it's gone. So you need to find stuff to get going early on. Let's have a look at this. Okay, so this is the graveyard sub-dungeon. This is basically a bunch of gold piles, and you have a couple of gravestones with flavor text that you can read if you want. And if you look at this particular gravestone, which is for Pravish the Extreme, who died in the freak deep sea skydiving accident, so he's pretty extreme. Level 5 zombie, so he's pretty tough, but if you kill him, he'll give you a pair of elven boots, which is one of the more powerful items in the game, which you can then lock her later on. Let's just not talk about that for now. Ammo wall here, very nice, but we're just gonna leave it on the ground for now. Petrifies enemies so that the next kill you get after petrifying one enemy gives you 50% bonus experience. This is worth it when you're killing, say, a monster that's 3 levels higher than you, or 2 levels higher than you, because you sacrifice a monster, so you sacrifice some experience to get a boost of XP. So right now I'm not planning on using it. In fact, I might just go ahead and convert it later, but I'll leave it on the ground for now in case I get a really nice opportunity. Okay, so I haven't talked about Endless Wall, which I found and picked up immediately. Main effect is obviously to destroy a wall, but it stacks some physical resistances on you, which is very nice. So we're gonna start spamming that as well as I explore. We have a nice level 2 goblin here that we can actually kill right away. That's good. Let's do that. One thing to note when you're using Endless Wall is that you want it, as much as possible, to break walls that will lead you to black space you otherwise can't access. Like here, these 2 tiles here, I couldn't normally access them because they're covered by the walls, but thanks to this, later on when I've explored all of the dungeon, I'll still have this to explore. I should have broken this one actually, because this one I can access anyway, but it's fine. It's you really don't need to play optimally to beat these dungeons. Later on, if you're taking on the really ridiculous difficult dungeons, you'll want to maximize your efficiency, but for now it's fine. Okay, so I've gotten this guy down to the point where I can kill him. The 40% physical resistance lets me tank another hit before the death protection, and then I'll be able to use Wait What to get a first strike on him. So let's do this. 2 hits, and then Wait What. He's slowed so I can kill him for the win, and an extra experience, which is fantastic. Okay, so I'm level 2 now. You'll notice I've left all the level 1 monsters alone, because you really do not want to fight monsters that are the same level as you. It's just something you absolutely want to avoid. The reason for that is that monsters the same level as you cost a lot of resources because you don't get a first strike against them like you would against lower level monsters, but they don't give you any bonus experience, so you're basically wasting a lot of resources for the least amount of XP possible. For the resources you use anyway. Level 4 is probably doable for me here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stack up the resistances like I was doing earlier. Just going to keep exploring as I do that. By the way, I should probably adjust this now because this is pretty important. When you start playing, the game impresses on you the fact that your exploration space is a limited resource and you should definitely be managing it. And that's entirely true. You should not be like wasting exploration when you can. But it's really okay to explore quite a bit at the beginning. The reason for that is that you want to find, you know, your glyphs. You want to find your targets for fighting higher level monsters. You want to find items and, you know, find out who the boss is and things like that. Like, by the way, this is the boss here. I'll find out soon. But basically, what I'm trying to say here is it's okay to explore quite a bit at first. You know, that way you'll find all the tools you need to complete the dungeon. If you underexplore at the beginning, then you might be trying to fight suboptimal targets with fewer tools, and as you find the stuff you need, then you can start leveling up, and the first few levels, once you've got a couple of good tools, go by really quick, and since every time you level up you refill all your health and mana, you're basically compensating for all this the exploration space you wasted by leveling up quickly. Right, so now that I've said that, let's keep this guy in mind. Okay, so it would take 4 hits to kill him. I'm going to go ahead and convert Immoble right away. I'm not planning on really using it. And thanks to the bonus damage now, I can kill him in 3 hits, which will be fine as soon as I stack up the physical resistances. So let's do that. We can open up this small space here. And this is most likely other wall, which means I would probably be wasting black space here. So I'm just going to keep exploring around. It's possible that this is like just a one-tile corridor, but usually you can see the edges of a wall when that's the case. And I'm not seeing it here, so I'm going to assume that this is just further walls. Let's continue. Right, and now I'm at 60 physical resistances, and I'll have exactly enough resistances to take a second hit. See, the first one leaves me at 17, and then the second one 16, so I'll have 1 HP without using my death protection, which is great, because death protection is good to use if you can the death protection is good to use if it enables you a really good kill, like 3 or 4 levels higher than you. But you usually want to save it for that, or maybe for the boss if you're unsure. You know, usually when you gain confidence, you start getting a good feeling for when it's worth to use it. But if you're not sure yet, it's usually best to save it for the boss. That's just how I do it. Some people might say something different. Ultimately, you have to just find out what works best for you. But there is definitely optimal and suboptimal plays, so keep that in mind. Now, obviously, I've been trying to use End this wall to clear out spaces for later exploration, but you should also definitely use it to open up space for exploration. Yeah, I was right about the wall here. To open up space for exploration if you can. And thanks to the resistance, I can take out this guy. See, normally I would use Wait What to switch places with him and get an extra XP, but because switching place will force me to explore that one tile, which will regenerate him just enough so that he'll have to take 2 hits instead of 1, it's less trouble to just kill him right away. That 1 extra XP won't make a huge difference in this case. In other cases it might, but not here. So this guy has a magical attack, so I can't use the End this wall bonus resistances against him, since it's physical resistance that he grants you, so let's just keep exploring. I don't think I can take this zombie on as is. Maybe with like really high resistances, but I doubt it. Let's instead just focus on this goblin. There. And now I can take this guy on. I'm exploring around him so that I can use Wait What for that first strike without having to bother with, you know, accidentally regenerating him too much. And let's grab the boosters whenever you can. The game makes this fairly clear, but really, any booster you should take as soon as you see it, with very, very, very rare exceptions. Okay, so let's get a couple of resistances and take out this level 6 goblin, sorry. That was kind of useless. Wait, what? Whatever. Okay, let me see, is helpful for uncovering, like, tiles you can't normally access. We're already taking care of that with Endoswell, but I will use it a couple of times. Because what it does is also it reveals the locations of useful things the first few times that you use it. Like, for now I know that the fireball is over here. I think that's it for the glyphs though, because I already converted Endoswell. Let's use it one last time. Okay, yeah, that's good. That's it. Since, like I said, I'm already opening up spaces for exploration with Endoswell, I'll go ahead and convert that because I think that the extra damage will be more useful. But I could have kept it. The thing about the human conversion bonus is that it gets stronger on later level, at higher levels. Like at level 4, it's only really giving you an extra 2 damage, but at level 10, it gives you extra 5 damage. So if you're not sure whether or not if you're playing a human and you're not sure whether or not a glyph is going to be useful later or not, you might as well just keep it, unless you really need that extra damage. If you're playing as an orc, conversely, which I'm not going to be unlocking in this playthrough, then it's probably best to convert as many things as possible early on. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's just keep playing. Since the fireball is here, I could be breaking walls to reach it. In fact, I'm going to do this, but I could also be trying to show that you can definitely win and get really far into the dungeon without finding the fireball. Like, a lot of people feel like you need to find this early, otherwise it's really hard. And yeah, it's harder, but if you use your glyphs well, you can get by with a couple of other glyphs if you use the utility like I've been showing. So I'll just go ahead and kill this level 2 goblin first. Let's get that extra experience, especially since the leveling up fills up my mana anyway. One thing I didn't do here that I could have considered is I still had quite a bit of leftover HP here. Since I killed him and it immediately refilled everything, and since I had first strike against him so that my HP didn't matter, I could have been looking at, say, another enemy to see if I could weaken one up before leveling up and then continue to fight. Like I probably could have gotten a first hit on this guy, for instance, which would have been helpful. But you know, again, that would be optimal play, but we'll be fine. We'll be perfectly fine. Let's open that up here. Grab the fireball. Build up those resistances as I go. And that I was going for that extra attack booster because I could see that the goblin had would barely survive 2 hits, so now with that extra 10% we can kill him. Let's go ahead and wait what. Do we have a level 9? Yeah, we do, but okay. So we're at 2 experience to leveling up, which is going to heal us completely. So what I'm going to try and do here is get started on this level 9 warlock. And actually, let's focus on the goblin instead, since we can use the physical resistances from Endoswell on this guy. You should always pick your targets in accordance to what you can fight, basically. It's pretty obvious, but it's just good to keep in mind. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and explore around him, just because I'm going to be using Way to Wet on him later. So, what I'm going to do here is hit him twice. Actually, I don't even need to use the level up, I think. Oh yeah, I do. Never mind. Never mind what I just said. So I could use up my death protection here, and get a 4 level higher kill, which would definitely be probably optimal. Actually, this would be a really good use of my death protection. But I just want to show, like, you should always be on the lookout when you're really close to leveling up. for really strong targets that you can use up most of your resources on, then kill those weak target to level up. Now I'm back to full health. And there we go. Now we can just kill this guy really easily and get a really nice boost. Like I said, in this case it probably would have been a good place to use my death protection, because 4 level higher kills is really good, but overall I feel like keeping this technique in mind, the level up heal bonus, is one of the things that's definitely going to improve your game the most. And in fact here, he has... Okay, so I didn't talk about burning, which is Burn Their As's special utility aspect. What it does is that, well, first of all, he has 1 stack of burning, so I'm going to hit him for 1 more damage. So I'm doing 45, but with the burning stack of 1, I would be doing 46 to him on the next attack. Furthermore, the other thing burning does is that it reduces an enemy's regeneration, sorry, by 1 exactly. Like, no matter how many burning stacks the enemy has, it still reduces by 1. So, like, 3 burning, 1 burning, doesn't matter. This guy is regenerating at 8 health per uncovered tile instead of 9. So let me just do a bit of quick math, which I haven't done in a while. Okay, so if you add 8 to his current HP, he'll have exactly 46, which is 1 more than my current attack damage, but because of the burning, I would be doing 46 damage. In other words, if I regenerate specifically exactly 1 tile, I will have exactly enough mana to cast Wait What and slow him, and since I've explored around him, then I won't be accidentally regenerating him. So I'll go ahead and explore this 1 tile here. And there we go. You should always be on the lookout for these little advantages you can find against higher level enemies. I just killed an enemy that was 3 levels higher than I was, with only a couple of glyphs on a fighter. You just have to have an eye for these things, and that's just something that comes as you get used to the game. It takes a while, so don't despair if you're still having trouble. I often miss these things myself, so. Okay, so now I'm level 7 going into 8. That's usually a good approximate time to be looking at starting to fight the bosses. Sometimes you'll want to fight earlier, sometimes you'll want to fight later, but 7 to 8 is a good baseline for when to fight the bosses. Well, I say bosses, in this case there's only 1, but soon enough we're going to start having 2 bosses per dungeon. Oh right, I never fought this guy. Let's do that. Get those elven boots. Now I have 16 mana, which is very nice. So let's open up more space for that. Okay, I'm just about to level up. Alright. So, next monster I kill is going to level me up, which will heal me completely, so let's start unloading all our attacks on the boss. This is also a good time to consider converting glyphs and all that. He resists magic by 35%, which isn't huge. This means that my physical attacks will obviously be more effective than my magical attacks, which means I could consider, for instance, converting Burn Their As and using my mana exclusively on Wait What and Int as well. In fact, I think the extra damage I would get from Wait What would be more effective, so I might just convert both Burn Their As and Wait What and keep End as well. This might also be suboptimal. I honestly don't know how the math is, but let's just do that. Alright, so I'm at 60 resistances. And let's cast more End as well. For 40. And I do believe that it would be worth to get that extra 2 mana and cast it a 3rd time. The thing about resistance is that the more you add, the more effective they are, so going from 20 to 40 is good, but going to 40 to 60 is significantly better. Anyway, so let's attack him again. Do more. And I'm really close to like his damage, so I'm not going to use my death protection right away. I don't know if that makes sense, it just seems to make sense right now. I apologize, I'm a bit tired right now, as always. Open up more black space. I should have explored and cast in this wall one more time, but let's do that now. That might not actually be worth it, but whatever. Okay, so now I'm down all of that. I could start using my potions, but really I don't need to because this is where the fighter shines. I can go ahead and kill all of those monsters that I slowed earlier on, and look at how fast my XP is climbing. The fighter is the best class, the second best class at leveraging those mid-fight level ups. If you're good about efficiently leveling up, then you're set for the boss. It should be really easy. And there we go. So that's the boss killed without any potions, and as you can tell, I still have a ton of resources left. I have that 16 mana, and I can go around killing all of the leftover monsters. There, I'm level 10, and I can go around and kill all of the leftover monsters. Hell, let's just convert this. Kill these guys in one hit. Alright. And I still haven't used any potions. This is how much resources the dungeons actually give you. If you learn to leverage them properly, you can win with a lot of stuff left over. By the way, if there are any potions you don't use, you should keep them and exit the dungeon with them, because you sell them off at the end for extra kingdom gold. It's just a good thing to keep in mind. And let's unlock the elves. Okay, and let's get out. There we go. So the banker quests, like I said, are a bit easier than the regular dungeons because the monster stats are weaker, but still, you can get Specialist, Cheeky, Dingmax, Feeling Part, Unstoppable, and Purist all together. It's possible to get Hoarder as well. I've done it before, but you know, you don't have to. In terms of like showing off strategic things, I think it's better to convert when you need. Okay, we've unlocked all of this stuff, which is nice. I will unlock the elves. Like I said, my plan is to unlock the 5 basic races up to the halflings and gnomes. So let's do that. And in fact, I think my next run I'm going to be using the elves to show off what is arguably one of the best classes in the game. Venture capital, right? Okay, yeah. So let's do this one now. I'm going to try and go through that one a bit faster. But yeah, I want to show off the wizard and why the wizard is awesome. So first of all, you start with Fireball, which is fantastic. And you know where all the glyphs are, so that means that that early exploration I was talking about, where you want to like find all the tools you need, is a lot more efficient because you already know where a lot of those important tools are. Let's start spamming Wanna Fight. For the same reason that I was using Wait What as I was exploring earlier, you want to use Wanna Fight to gather all of those low-level monsters that you'll later be able to one-hit kill. You want to gather them next to the entrance. That way not only you're preserving experience for later, but you're also keeping them in a nice place where you can access them and unclogging the corridors at the same time. So, okay. I'm a wall, I might actually use that later this time, just because I didn't play it. And, okay, like I said earlier, burning, which is a status effect that burn arrows gives to monsters, reduces monster regeneration by 1. This means that you're halving the monster the health regeneration of level 2 monsters when you're at level 1, which means that you can basically out-regen the majority of them, out-regenerate them, at least on the easier dungeons. So let's get started to show that off. And because I'm a wizard, then my fireballs they cost less, which means I can cast 2 from the start. Pretty nice. Also, the wizard stacks burning double, so after 1 fireball he already has 2. And the max here is just because burning stacks up to twice your level. Right, sorry, enough rambling on this. But yeah, so that's a very easy kill. And all my glyphs are small items, which means I can later on I'll be able to use them along with nice items. So yeah, I'm gonna keep exploring in the direction of the glyphs and fighting all the enemies I can. Let's kill that wizard, level 2. And I don't know if I can take on this level 4 meat man. Possibly. If you count the damage of the fireball as well as the burning, I might be able to, although it might cost me a lot of black space. But since I have a lot, let's give it a try. This might be a fool's errand. Usually you want to, you know, properly calculate whether or not it's doable. Something like that is doable, especially if you're running out of black space. I think it's doable. Yep. The HP is... oh, good. Get in there. Great. Oh! Okay, and this is the tutorial for the codex. Yeah, by the way, this is pretty helpful. It gives you... it lists all the things. It's especially helpful for when you unlock the gods, because it'll list all of the stuff you've discovered about them, like the things that gods dislike or like. If you're not sure about a god, you should definitely go and check those pages out. But, you know, a list of all the races, classes, glyphs, and there's, you know, fun little lore about the different items. The boss pages are especially funny. Anyway, enough about that. Get in there is definitely one of the strongest glyphs in the game. So we can use it here. You want to cast this whenever you can. Like, you cast it once, attack, and then cast it again. It stacks dodge chance, which means that now I'll have 10% chance to dodge my next attack. Next time I cast it, I'll have 15%. The dodge chance goes away after you dodge, but still, a free attack is always nice. And while you shouldn't be scumming for dodges, sometimes, you know, you have nothing better to do, so sometimes it's worth it, but it's pretty rarely worth it, to be honest. And let's explore towards that final glyph. Oops. Try not to explore more tiles than what you actually need in terms of regeneration. I'm not really being careful right now, but it's something to keep in mind. Cast biceps earlier on as well, because that just gives you the bonus in advance. Then you can regenerate your mana and start the battle with an extra damage bonus and full mana. Just something to keep in mind. Alright, I've got all the glyphs. Let's see. I can go ahead and convert... let me see right away, because I'm not too worried about saving exploration space. As an elf, you tend to use up a lot of exploration space, so let me see is still useful. But I'll just go ahead and convert it anyway. Actually, as a wizard, let me see is even better than usual. But, you know, I like all of the stuff I have here, so I don't really know. But I definitely want to show off how the wizard works and why the wizard is one of the strongest classes, so I'll go ahead and convert it right away. Where is it? Alright, there you go. Magic Affinity. Donate 10 conversion points to other conversions. When you glyphs donate 10 conversion points to other conversions. What this means is that anytime you convert something, actually, you know what? I don't even need to convert this to show this off. Every time you convert something, every glyph in your inventory is going to give 10 of its own conversion value to whatever you're converting. So I can convert this health potion here, which gives me 10. And each of the 6 glyphs in my inventory is going to donate 10 of its conversion value to that conversion. So one potion converted is going to give me enough to get 1 extra mana, which is very nice. And like in the previous run, I'm not planning on using my potions here, so I'll just go ahead and convert all the health potions. I'll keep the mana potions just in case, but I'm not planning on needing them. So right now, this means that now I'm at 15 mana, which means I can cast 3 fireballs thanks to my wizard's ability to cast with 1 less mana. And I'm wondering how much... Okay, so this is 12. Yeah, I don't expect this to work. But this is the thing, because my wizard stacks burning at double the rate, my fireballs can do 6 extra damage, which is really great. So what I want to do here is, now that I've stacked up burning, I'll fill up my mana. The burning stays, by the way, so the goblin regenerates its HP, but the burning stays. What I want to do here, let's see. Okay, so my fireballs are going to do almost enough damage to kill him, but this is part of the plan. First things first, I'm going to use unlockable this time to petrify this zombie. This gives me the 50% experience to my next okay. So let's unload the fireballs. 50% extra experience in my next skill, sorry, I lost track there. And he has 2 HP left. But here's the other thing about burning. Not only does it do extra damage when you hit the monster, if you hit another monster, it detonates and does exactly the amount of damage that you have in stacks. So I'm going to hit this level 4 zombie, which won't kill it, so it won't waste my experience boost like it would if I killed this goblin. This will detonate and deal exactly 6 damage to the goblin, which will kill it and reward me with a very nice amount of experience. Let's do that. Bam. Excellent. So I'm already level 4 and I haven't even explored, like, I've barely explored a third of the dungeon, I'd say. So that's very good. And I could just go ahead and take out this Warlock by using Get In There. In fact, I keep forgetting to cast it in between attacks. I shouldn't be doing that. You should always remember these little efficiency things. Biceps and Get In There after every attack, so long as you have the exploration to spare. Just because they come in handy in the long run. And I have no other valid targets right now. Again, never fight same level monsters. So I'll just spam Wanna Fight. Which is, at lower levels, it's pretty much never a waste. Pretty much never. There are very, very few absolutes in terms of always and nevers in this game. Just so you know. So if I say something is never or always the case, there are probably fringe examples where that's not actually true, but it's just something to keep in mind. And since I just resummoned a level 4 monster, I think I'm out of monsters to summon, which is both good and bad, because now yeah, that's right. Because now exploring is a bit more wasteful, but it's really not the end of the world. Don't get too upset over exploring. Unless you find that you're always running out of stuff, then you should be upset about that. But actually, I'm going to go ahead and kill this guy with a physical attack, so I'm going to petrify another zombie. The reason I'm favoring zombies to petrify isn't actually relevant right now in this current setup. It's just that zombies are bloodless, and later on there are times where, you know, blood pools are actually important, like if you're playing a blood mage or using Dracula. So, you know, they're your preferred petrification targets just because you're not wasting a potential blood pool by petrifying them. So let's do that. Oh, and I just dodged, which wasn't necessary, so that's kind of a waste, but that's fine. At some point, it'll end up useful. Did I just waste the mana potion by accident? No, I don't think I did. I just hit 2 keys at once by accident. But that's okay. Right, let's summon the level 5 monsters. Well, meatmen aren't going to be very good popcorn, but that's fine. And I can kill this guy. Summon. Get In There. Part of the reason why Get In There is so good is that it saves you a ton of resources. Like that physical attack costs a lot of HP, and casting Get In There basically saves up all of that for very little mana cost, on top of stacking the dodge, which is part of why it's so good. Okay, I'm out of monsters to summon. Ooh, this guy might be interesting. He is unfortunately a first striker, so let's see. How much burning can I stack? I can stack up to 10 burning. I'm dealing 20 damage, so that means that these fireballs can do up to 30. So, and I can cast it 3 times. So Okay, I won't have enough. I will not have enough damage to kill him with 3 fireballs, but I can convert a bunch of potions and get even more mana. By the way, I go ahead and convert potions because I know I'm not going to need them for this dungeon, but that's not something you should do unless you're actually confident that you can win. You should be most of the time keeping your all of your potions for the boss fight. I'm just allowing myself to do this because I'm confident in my ability to win this. Okay, so now I can cast 4 fireballs. As you can see, I'm already pretty close. And I'll just go ahead and refresh all of my mana. And see, with 4 fireballs, now with max burning, I can kill this guy. Because I don't think I specified this earlier, but the extra damage from burning applies to fireballs, obviously. But since fireballs add burning, then it doesn't go away, so you just keep stacking on damage up to the cap, which is a great way of getting kills early on. So let's petrify this zombie again, and get this delightful level 9 kill. 4 level higher kills isn't something you get to do very often, but since the monster stats in these early quests are pretty low, then it's perfectly viable. And thanks to getting there, biceps and all that, I think I can actually take out this level 9 meat man by exploring. So I'll be able to make good use of the exploration. By the way, this is the reason why I wanted to keep Lemisi. Exploring to fill up 20 mana is very wasteful. Since mana only ever regenerates at 1 per tile, it costs a lot of black space if you kill a monster with all your mana and then have to regenerate it all for exploring. Which is why Lemisi is helpful, because not only does it let you regenerate some of the hidden black space to give you more regeneration, but because the wizard casts it for only 1, then each cast restores 2 mana instead of 1. Right, enough of that diversion. This video is dragging on for pretty long, so I'm going to go ahead. Oh, well, I get to just kill him that way, I guess. Good for me. Actually, what I should do is top this off with an XP bonus. Alright. And I can most definitely kill this guy. And again, we're reaching the point where we should be fighting the boss here, level 7 to 8 again. And, you know, again, don't take this as an absolute. Really, there are situations where you want to fight the boss much earlier or sometimes even later, although that's more rare. But for a single boss dungeon that's not Super Meat Man, level 7 to 8 is usually a good point. Alright. And I think I'll have enough experience to do this, so... Do I want to summon anything else? Maybe I'll just spam want to fight. The thing with the... Oh, right, I'll probably actually want to kill this guy. I'm probably not going to be able to kill these guys in one hit, but there might be some level 6 enemies that I can. I'm not sure about that. We'll see. Nope. The zombie is going to have too much HP, but that's fine. If you're not planning on exploring during the boss fight, and usually when you're relying on fireballs, you're not going to do that just because of basically the regeneration cost of fireballs. Then you want to uncover as much as possible of the dungeon before you fight it, because there might be some leftover potions or boosters or items that you haven't found that will help you during the boss fight. So it's a trade-off. Some boss fights you want to regenerate, and the most basic rule of thumb for that is if the boss has low attack, well, like this one for instance, it's more likely that you'll gain from regenerating during the fight. Super Meat Man is an example. He has a ton of HP, but his hits are so weak that you can usually out-regenerate the damage he does. Anyway, let's get started on this guy. This should be fine. let's just cast these for good measure. Yeah, he laughs at you for using physical attacks because he has some physical resistance, but really you should be using your HP on him. There is no reason not to physically attack him. In fact, when you cast Biceps, your boosted attack also erodes resistances, both magical and physical, so that's one good way of dealing with monsters that have high resistances. Great, let's level up here. Go ahead and, oh, there we go, I dodged, very nice. And exactly 4 fireballs will kill him, so that's nice. Yay! Alright, second guy down, and I forgot to get this guy's potion, so let's just do that right now. Obviously I won't be selling off potions since I converted them, but you know, I got to keep poneglyphs, even though I never actually ended up using, let me see, but that's fine. Some people advocate like high conversion strategies, for which the elf in fact is usually good because you get a flat bonus for it. I tend to try and hold on. I'm more of a hoarder. I don't like converting things that I worry I might be able to use later. That's not necessarily optimal, but that's just I feel better playing that way. So there you go. Let's just level up one more time just because we can. If you just beat a really hard dungeon, don't do that. You might actually click on a Gorgon or a Goblin and kill yourself, and that'll make you really sad, but I'm not too worried about this. I wonder if I can reach level... I wonder if I can reach level 10. Yeah, I think I can. Yay! Oh, okay. In fact, I think I can get the Unstoppable badge as well. There we go. You don't actually have to do that, just for fun I did it. And we have the dwarves here. Very good. Okay, so that's basically the first 2 quests out of the way. I just wanted to do these as a quick introduction video, as well as to have a sort of mini tutorial. Obviously this really isn't good as a standalone tutorial, but hopefully if you're struggling with the early game, you learned a couple of things from this. Most important thing is to only fight monsters that are higher level than you, or kill off the weaker monsters in one shot for leveling up. That's the one thing you can do, you should focus on if you're not already doing it, if you want to improve your game. Only fight higher level monsters, and leave lower level monsters for later so you can level up during the boss fight. If you learn to do that, you can beat all the normal dungeons no problem, and even most of the hard dungeons. Yeah, so yeah, like I said, not really a tutorial so much as a couple of a showcase of basic, relatively high level play. Not optimal. Feel free to go ahead and point out all the mistakes I made, by the way, in the comments. That would be great, because people who watch this who are learning can learn from the stuff I did wrong as well. So by all means, criticize everything you want about my play. Feel free to ask questions. I will be very happy to answer them. And let's just go ahead and unlock the dwarves right away. And I will be looking forward to the next video. We've unlocked all the directional dungeons. But I think we're going to be heading back into the Adventure Cave and Den of Danger, just for now, because I think that's where you find the gnomes and halflings, and I want to unlock those at least. So that'll probably be our next video. I'll try and make these a bit shorter, like maybe 1 or 2 dungeon runs at most, but I just wanted to get through this get through this early phase, and also take some more time than usual to explain what I'm doing. So yeah, please leave feedback, anything you want to know, whether I'm playing too slow or too fast, if I'm talking too much or not enough. And I will see you next video. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye!